Hello, what's going on, everybody? It's Rolling Rock Dave again with another sit and go strategy session here. Another $3.30 sit and go here, where I've actually placed the payouts this time on the screen, and that was just the first hand. I had a little difficulty, sort of as you say, of getting this going, but here we go. Now, as you know, I don't really play too many hands early on in these because chip accumulation is not really all that important in a sit and go. But when I do have position or a strong hand, by all means, I will go all in. And like always, I will point out the things I agree or disagree with my opponents and whatever else. So, under the gun here raises 98. A lot of times in a tournament, I will three bet. I still will three bet a lot here in a sit and go. But you know what I'll do? I'll just call here. Um, just for the fact that I have position. Um, a lot of times in these lower stakes, they'll just shove all in, which I do not want to call with Ace King early on in a tournament. But I will gladly call a half pot bet here. I'm mostly likely ahead here. Uh, and we'll see what he does. And as usual, if I bust out of a tournament early, I will um, record it all the way through. This is a turbo, so it won't last super long, I'm hoping. He's doing another bet, which is totally reasonable. I'm not going to raise or anything like that. And then King is wonderful in case he does have ace queen. Um, there's not many hearts in his range um, because he raised under the gun. I think I will go all in here. I get called by an ace queen here, something like that. But we'll shove here. Ace queen is the target. Um, the third heart might prohibit him from calling. There's the ace queen. Well, the heart wasn't a bad card for me. I mean, the king was wonderful in the sense that, yeah, I did beat ace queen. If I did not hit the king there, I would just flat call. But the heart didn't prevent me from it. It limited his calling chances because hearts were a good part of my range as long as as well as ace king. So that's two things that he doesn't really beat. So anyway, that's a good start to a tournament. Good start to a video as well. It's always nice to have a video and well, that busted. Man, that would suck. What if he had the flush there? What if he had the flush? So yeah. So sitting goes. Yeah, you just play tight early on, and then as the tournament progresses, you up the aggression. And then the most beautiful part of a sit and go is the bubble play. And it all depends on what your chip stack is compared to the others. If there's a short stack, uh, if everyone is fairly equal, all different strategies that you have to um, look at. And sitting goes are very important if you do play multi-table tournaments. Final tables are very similar to a sitting go. And it's great to have these skills of playing sit and goes for final table. A lot is for the ICM uh, theory, where you might not want to call with a hand that otherwise you would in middle of a tournament because the justification of losing that money is not worth it. So anyway, we're going to fold this 8-3 here. I'm folding a lot of hands here. We have a raised 81 under the gun. My range here will be most pairs. Suited ace 10 up. And uh, offsuit ace jack, I think, king queen, and there's queens, which is in line with what I would do there. Ace queen qualifies as part of the range, and we will raise here. I don't raise big amounts. I kind of welcome callers. I can um, get folds more nearly as often as I would if I were to raise a larger amount. But that being said, earlier in the tournament, I am going to raise a little bit more than I would later on in a tournament. But in a sit and go, really is no huge difference. 2.53 big blinds is technically, I get flatted from a later position player in the cutoff. 873. I could see bet here. I could get a lot of ace highs to fold here. I could check just because it favors him and middling pairs. But I am leaning here towards betting. Bet 75 if he calls. I mean, if I hit an ace or queen, that's fantastic. And I do get to fold out king queens and all that stuff. When he calls there on the flop, I'm less likely to bet a jack. Um, he seems like he could just stick around, and I'm just going to lose chips. The check on the turn is interesting. Kind of makes me believe that he has something like an ace high here, of which I beat most of, and I don't think ace king will fold here. So I will check here, looking for a check back and hoping he has ace 10. But a bet does seem suspicious if he does bet here. But there's really no sense in trying to pick up a bluff at this point. I have a really good chip standing here. Um, and there's no need to just speculate and just give away chips. Like a multi-table, maybe I would consider it early stage in a tournament because it's going to affect me much less. But here in a sit and go where there's limited amount of chips to win and technically you're at the final table, might as well not. So here we have a complete from the small blind. Totally fine play. I do that quite often in the small blind with almost my entire range in the beginning stages of the tournament. And the big blind raises and the small blind folds. Totally reasonable plays by all sides there. And here we have 4-7 in the big blind. I'm not going to defend, especially to someone with 300 chips, although I could probably knock him out, but just going to fold the 2.66x raise. Yeah, I'm just going to let the big blind or the button have an opportunity here. So I would just go all in here if I were this player here. Get you know, keep yourself balanced, as they say, with your made hands and your ace high hands and whatever else you happen to be raising. But typically, a short stack like this player had has a stronger range than someone with a deeper stack. So Demon Kov is currently in the tank, and he is actually really thinking about it. If I were him, I would definitely call with any 10 that I have. And flush draws, I would also call with sure, especially if I have overcards. He's probably thinking about, not really sure what he's thinking about. It's kind of clear cut if you have a 10 or a draw. Maybe he had something like ace jack, and he was thinking if he should call with just 2 overs. I would fold 2 overs, but at the same time, I would 3-bet pre-flop just so I'm not in that odd situation because the button is not going to call the 3-bet more than likely, and you get the short stack all in pre-flop in a likely favorable situation. So here we have a flop of 3 king 10. There is a lead out of 30. I generally don't like lead outs like this. They are very um, weak for the vast majority of the time. Yeah, you'll run into opponent that will do this with a set or something at times, but typically this indicates a 10x hand or a hand like queen jack, some sort of draw where they're setting their own price for the turn. Aces is a fine hand, especially on the button. Gotta consider many different options of clearly it's raise here. It's we'll see what happens when it gets to me, but aces is such a beautiful hand to see. So, well, not much action here. We'll just go 115. 115 is 2.3x, a little bit larger than what I want to do, and I get a fold from 8 is close as well. I could look to steal if it gets folded around to me. Um, Again, multi-table tournaments, I am more likely to do that, and I'm definitely not playing in position with the 6-8 suited. A lot of players do that in sit and goes. They will call with a 6-8 suited, but I mean, there's not really a point to doing that in a sit and go. Not many chips to win, and you're going to be put in a lot of awkward positions with such low chip stacks. So we have check from Demon. I don't know why he's checking a 4-4-2 flop. Um, he could be doing this with a big pair. A big pair. Check calling is very quite a interesting play. It works. 156 seems like it's a hand like sevens or sixes and doesn't really want to get trapped by that overpair type hand, but it does seem like he had a hand like king, queen, queen, jack, something like that that had two overs and had a good price to pay. So who's calling me? Oh, scam call. Sometimes you see numbers that you know that are certain companies that are not that favorable. So far so good in this tournament. Player overbets the pot. Overbets the pot, but he's up against an opponent that has 500 chips, so and he bets pretty much the same. Um, Definitely look like a jack there. I mean, versus short stack opponent. I mean, they're not folding an ace there ever. So maybe I like a smaller bet there. Uh, Maybe to induce or something like that, but the overbets seem really strong. Like you're not folding out anything, and then you're just like in a rough shot shape if you don't have a jack. Therefore, you should have a jack. Yeah. So yeah, I used to do these. Used to do sit and go 17 tables at once. That was kind of my thing on the Poker Star slash Full Tilt and even Party Poker back in the day. Um, Many different buying levels. Did well. Uh, Helps me when to current day if I were to make final tables. But uh, twos, I'm actually gonna fold. Twos aren't good at early position. Chances of raises and all that stuff. Flopping a set's very rare. It's justifiable to call there with twos, yes, but it's not always the best. Watch a two comes. Watch a two come. Ha! All right. No two. I said no two's gonna come, and no two came. Yeah. Check, check, check. The initial razor bets half pop button. Gotta love that half pop button. Thankfully, it's there for some play. Oh, there's a two. There's my set. But I would have never, ever made the turn. 7. It goes check, check. So I would definitely bet here. Yep, yep, yep. To get a fold. There's no way any sort of hand bets there. We're folding the king 7. Got another fold. Got a 2.5x auto. Super Dave at 460. Considering folds, button fold, small blind, num un e is disconnected. So yay, you have 90 seconds to just talk about stuff. Okay, he is now reconnected, and we got a fold around. Now we're in the big blind. Blinds have now gone up to 40-80. Blinds are 10 minutes apiece in this tournament. I will probably defend here to a minimum raise. Yeah, just defend away. This guy has been calling a lot of buttons. Noteworthy. We will defend, flop nothing at all. Easy peasy, color breezy. Fold. If it gets checked around, what's the best card? Could bet here, but we're just gonna conserve our chip stack. No need to bluff into two opponents. Um, we're just gonna check, fold, go on to next hand, and be okay with it. We're gonna be okay. Fives and ace deuce suited. Yeah. So now we're in the small blind with king three. There's another larger stack. I will fold. I would have completed if it was just me and him. And with that, I don't want to be out of position versus two opponents. So I went ahead and folded. As you can see, I have listed the pay structure here. Typical sit and go single table structure here. Third place is 540. Second place is 810, and first place is 1350. Got king three suited on the button. Uh, Sometimes I raise here, sometimes I don't, depending on what I feel like, but it's fair to um, put the pressure on a little bit. Just try and steal the blinds. Having a nice this guy is limping a lot. I'm not a big fan of isolating in these. Um, you don't really have many chips to work with, especially with a weak hand like King 3. This would have been a very favorable stream three street turn bet. This may have been a raise for me. I might have called getting the having the position and the draw. But it seems like this player here is doing a lot of limping and minimum betting when he has an opportunity. Um, that being said, if he limps again, King 10 suited is strong enough to make a raise. We will raise here, though, to 175 is fine. 0.18x. We get a fold around, which is always nice. We're going to fold the 4-6 suited. Do not get tempted into limping these hands. Usually, limping is not what you want to be doing in these at all, especially with speculative hands such as a 4-6 or any suited connector type hand. King 7 will fold. Ever since the first elimination, not much has been happening, so people are playing fairly tight, and so this should be a longer tournament that will be that will move forward when the blinds start getting hot. People will be excuse me, start being forced to push or call the pushes. So push call mode is quickly approaching for a lot of these players here. So we have a all in from the button, 5 blinds. What would I call here? Any ace, any king, any pair? Broadways most likely. Trying to steal blinds. You get a huge, huge, huge range here in the tank. What would I be in tank for? Maybe something like a queen 10 type hand, which I would probably call here. Maybe has 10-8, which is a bit under you want to do. Or maybe he's just not there. Could be anything. Yummy. Coffee. Coffee. I am recording this, right? We're probably just gonna run it down. So he's not that big of a decision where he's there. He is currently MIA. Under the gun. What do we get here? The blinds go up too. 6120. I am now at 32 blinds, slightly less. We'll call it 32 though. But here, we're going to start seeing pushes starting to be initiated. And another reason why you want to play tighter as an open raiser, just a standard open raiser, because there will be a lot of, or more frequently, you will see 3-bet shoves. And if you have a weak hand, you're going to have to fold, but you're losing tournament equity. So choose your steals sparingly and wisely. Sparingly and wisely. I'm not saying don't steal, but don't steal as often as you would in a middle/late stage of it. And this normally is just like taking his good old time with all the hands. Is that a half pop button? Looks like a half pop button. A lot of players are thankful to have pop button because they push that on a regular basis. Usually not a good bet size. Well, not the optimal bet size, I will say. It's more optimal to maybe bet super small amounts. Maybe it's more optimal to bet. See how many blinds he has. He has 15 blinds total. I think the best equity play here is a ship bit. I could also see checking and just playing the ace high, but I am okay with just shipping it in here with an ace high here versus a limping range. Queens is a fine hand. My third most favorite hand in poker is queens. Little known fact, third favorite hand in poker is pocket queens. I'll let you know the other two when we see them. I'll let you know when we see them. So as before, we're just gonna limp with our queens. Limp with the whole wide range here. Which way do we want to go? We can either go bet check here. We're gonna check this time around. Um, King's fine. We're gonna check and then call again. We're gonna bet the river, and nothing happens here. We're just gonna bet a small amount. 140. Try and get a little value here. Yeah, he had nothing. But limping there, like, if you're only raising with your good hands and like limping with your weaker hands, people get up. It's hard to balance that. But in the small blind, if you're willing to limp with your strong and weak hands, it's super easy to balance because you're, well, completing with your entire range. So it's super easy to balance. And balance is the key. You can't go one way or you can't go completely the other way because then you will potentially get abused by players who see that, notice that. So we have a raise on the button here to 240. Barry Stevens, who ships it. We get a call. Sixes versus ace two. Reasonable, all the way around. And sixes eliminate our second player. Hold our 5 deuce. So right now, two stacks. Myself and the player to my left have 35 and 40 blinds respectively, but then we have 16 blinds, 4 blinds, 23 blinds total, and 15 blinds. So everyone's starting to get into that mode where they're going to have to start shoving and reshoving. Kenko calls on the button, which is very interesting. He's been playing a snug game for the most part. Although he did call the one guy, and when this guy checked, he bet, he took it down, which might be the case again. He bets full pot, essentially puts them all in, and he gets another fold. So with the chip leader directly to my left here, I am very inclined to play super tight. Um, because he can do serious, serious, serious damage to me. And I want to avoid that because I am in very good position here, and I don't want to unnecessarily take chances at that. What we got here? Straight is great. The Jack 7 of hearts. Get another fold button here. Another shove on the button here. Shoving well gets a free shove from the small blind here. And a call, sixes, ace 5, ace 8, and sixes eliminates two players. So now we're down to 5. One off the bubble. But if the bubble were to start now, I'm going to have to be in lockdown mode, unfortunately, because with this player right here, not too much I can do. Not too much I can do. So we have it all in here for, what's that, 17 blinds or so? Oh gosh, I don't even know how to calculate. Just under 13 blinds. 10 times 150 is 1,500. So yeah. Ace 4? Okay. We're not going to re-shove with ace 4, not with, but we will call this all in if he shoves on me. Ace 10. Ace 10, 10, 10. This one is close and interesting at the same time. I fold now. But if that guy didn't do that, I would probably fold. Queen Jack. Oh, I was wrong. All right, now we are on the bubble. So in this position here, I am in that weird, awkward third position player where I am comfortable and this guy is so much short, but he's not super short. Different from being short and super short, which is under like, you know, we'll say 8 blinds. Um, but being in the middle stack is not what you want to be. Now, I might be able to mess with this guy a little bit if this guy keeps taking chips. Aces is always nice anytime in a tournament. We'll see how I want to play this exactly. Hopefully I don't just get folded out here. We will 3-bet here. He's probably going to fold, unfortunately, if I do this. This also gets some calls in there, and we'll see. We'll see. I could 3-bet, but anyway I go there, I think the most profitable call action there was just a flat call. But that puts me at heavy risk at being eliminated, especially with this player having so fewer blinds. 30 blinds, 37 blinds, 40 blinds, 12 blinds. I do not want to raise into that because I don't want that to shove into me and making me a short stack. I would have to call with Jack 10, and if he shoves, he has a range advantage over Jack 10. He's not shoving with Jack 8, for example. So, yeah, I'm in that weird having to fold mode. So 330 in position. I'm not going to go bust randomly here. I'm not going to 3-bet. I could 3-bet. We'll flat here. We're not going to go anywhere. We're not going to go bust or anything like that. We have an ace. Obligated to call here. 379, which is about half pot. We'll call. We would call with our whole range here, including flushes and whatnot as well. Don't like the flush if he does happen to bet here, but he doesn't bet. So we will go ahead with a bet of 880. Get a lot of other things drawn. Yeah, he could ship it here, but a flush is part of my range. Jack 5, we're too far off for shoving right now. He raises. Now, I could start messing with this guy a little bit with like 3-bet shoving, another risky play, especially because he does have more chips than me, but he won't call with that wide range. If I notice him raising too often in this, meaning that he's probably not raising with premium hands all the time, 3-bets will get a lot of folds. Um, we'll see here. He raised into the short stack. He had to expect that this guy would eventually like put them all in here. And he's at an awkward spot here. Oof. Let's see. Yeah, he's raising too often. Raising too often. I'm going to fold the ace-3 here. Yeah, when you get put yourself in that position where you're raising and then the short stack pushes and you have to fold, yeah, that's a mistake. Raising too often and then yeah. So now that he is now we kind of are in a weird this guy is now more balanced, so now it is right to be more aggressive again because now everyone has about the same equity. Gonna fold the under the gun, and that's a big raise actually. 3.25x raise there. We're going to fold the 9-4. Yeah, I do limp a lot of stuff in the small blind, but in this situation, I think it's correct to fold. We got a 14 big blind shove. This guy has a good shoving range here, and we'll see what the other guys do. I'm clearly folding with my 8-4 there, and we're folding with another 8-4 here back to back. No big deal. We have plenty of time here. Normally, let's see if he is a little more passive. No, he does continue to raise here. Do we see some action? We get another 3-bet. A beautiful, beautiful play. I do like this play. Second time and another time where he just folds again. Raising too often and just losing chips. A very, very strong play by this player here. The 3-bet all in is very, very strong. He has also raised me twice from the small blind to me. Do we defend? Do we defend? Do we defend? I actually don't defend in this situation here. I don't defend just because it's not really going to flop a good hand. I'm versus two opponents that can really put a dent into my stack. Get her all in here. Bizarre, bizarre bet. I mean, why are you going all in? Are you trying to protect an ace? Like, you can protect an ace with another bet. Are you scared of an all in there protecting equity? Fine. Just going to fold another one of these hands. Now we're all essentially equal stacks here. There's no one about to be eliminated. There's no one with a huge chip stack. So the most powerful thing that people have here is the 3-bet all in. I'm just going to raise to 400 here and probably will call just because everyone is equal chip stack. And when people are equal chip stack, there's uh, lower ICM implications. Now imagine if this guy had 730 chips there, and I raised, and it goes full fold, and then this guy goes all in here. Puts me at a weird spot. I'm going to have to fold because this guy has so few chips. We will complete with the ace-9 here. Flop nothing, but I will call a bet here on the flop. I could also bet there on the flop as well. The thing I can definitely do. If flush draw is totally, totally good for me, we'll bet 225. Maybe we take it down, maybe we don't. Get a 5 on the river here. We just check. Hope he checks back. He does. He also checks a 4, or Checks a 4 pre-flop, which is noteworthy as well, meaning his raises on the flop are probably stronger than ace 4. And deuce offsuit. We are now chip leaders. Hey, we did it. Goal achieved. Chip leader. This bubble is going well. I mean, it's a deep bubble. You don't always get deep bubbles with all 4 players doing it. Autopsy raises how he's playing. It seems like it's a strong hand here. Normally might be thinking of some revenge from before, but chooses to fold. Probably a good decision, actually. Autopsy is raising 2.5x. I will say is a large raise when people have everyone has under 20 blinds. You don't need to raise the extra zero point 0.5. It doesn't really uh, accomplish anything. Now, if this gets folded around to me, I am 1000% shipping. I'm actually shipping a lot of my range here. You know, just because it's like such a weird spot here. So I will start shipping quite often here when players have 15 blinds. Pocket eights goes the same way. Going to just ship it into these 2 stacks here. We have 15 and 15 here. I have 17. Going to ship it in here. See what happens here. Now imagine if you have like ace 8 here, something like that. I do get called. We'll see what happens here. Aces, we do flop an 8. And we get there. Wow. So that was unlucky that he had aces there. But worked out. I mean, I should ship there. He should call there. We're going to ship here. We're in the money now. Going to ship with the ace 5 here. Because we're shipping against a 15 and a 9 big blind stack here. Get a fold from the small blind. And aces again. Aces again. How do I want to play aces if he limps in? If he folds, we don't do anything. Jack 8. I think I might see what happens if I just complete here. Because when you're in the money, people are going to call off more frequently than if they were to be on the bubble. Because now they made some money, and it is proper to be. He does raise a limp here. Good to know. Raise my limp, so makes my stronger hand limps more effective as well. Got an all in, okay, to a 7 big blind stack. Gets called by ace king. He has jack 4, so his open shoving range now here's why. He gets a 4. Wow, another brutal play here. He folds to me. So I have many different strategies here. Let's see here. So he has 22 blinds here. I'll start with the limp here with the ace 10 here. I could definitely see myself raising there. See what he does here. He leads out for 300. Would a jack do that? No, most hands won't do that. I'm just going to call here. I could also raise here, but we're just going to call. 5 is a chef's kiss of a turn. He checks the turn here. We're going to bet 725 here. A little bit more than half the pot. I mean, I would do that with a lot of cards here. Ace Jack, another strong hand here. He bets 750. Do we want to go all in? The question is all in or just a regular raise. We're going to go all in here. Put pressure on. We'll do this with weaker hands then with ace high hands as well. So it just puts the pressure on this guy. We also know this guy open raises with a wide range of hands as well. We get called by king, queen. We flop an ace 4 with the diamond back up to get the victory. And once again, we come in first place in this sit and go for $13.50. There we go. And awesome way to finish this tournament. Got a little lucky in some situations, especially that eighth eights versus aces for my opponent late in the tournament, but that's gonna happen. Very good. Glad it happened with me. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Hope you got something from this. And I will see you next time. Follow me on Twitch. Name, as you see right here, is Rolling Rock Dave 33. Once again, have a great rest of your day.